Hello, everybody. Make sure I turn off the music. Let me make sure. Did I turn off the music? I think I turned off the music. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Let's see. I'm doing this on Clubhouse as well. So welcome everyone that's watching on Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse. I'm going to see if I can manage it all. This will be interesting. But before I bring on my next guest, and I'm going to bring her on very, very soon because it's 3 a.m. her time, 3 in the morning. So I really want to introduce her, bring her on, and hopefully everyone is already here and joining us because we're going to start right away because it is 3 in the morning for her. So before I start, I want to introduce her. Let me bring her up. And there she is. Hi.
Good morning. For me, it's good morning. For you, good evening.
Your audio, can't hear you. Can you hear me? So while you're figuring that out, I'm going to introduce you. Okay. So please welcome Ksenia Droben. And please tell me if I'm pronouncing it right or not. She is a matchmaker, just like me. She's international. And she's operating out of different parts of Europe. So I'm very excited to talk to her about it. She also speaks like 10 different languages fluently. Well, I don't know if it's 10, but I'm going to say 10. So can you hear me? Okay, let's see if I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No. There's on the bottom, it says mute, maybe.
No.
Turn up the volume. Maybe you want to log in and out, come back, leave and come back and see if that's weird.
Okay, I will try.
So strange. Oh, you hear her, but I don't hear her. Oh my goodness. Why am I not hearing you?
I'm talking. I don't know.
Hold on. See, this had to happen. I don't. Okay. Do I hear you now? Are you talking?
No, I'm talking.
This is bizarre. I do not hear you, but you guys hear her? Everyone says they hear you, but I don't hear you. Let me unmute you. Oh my gosh, people hear you, but they don't hear me. I mean, I don't hear you. What is going on?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me come out. This is so weird. Why do I not hear you? Okay, anyway, so you speak Russian, German. Tell me another language. Maybe all of a sudden it'll work. Why am I not hearing you?
I don't know. I don't know why you can't hear me.
Okay, this is bizarre. I'm not wearing headphones. People help me turn up. Yeah, it is on. My volume is on. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, wait. I think I hear you. Keep talking.
Now?
Yes. Yay! I don't know what happened. Now I hear it. Okay, so thank God. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Do you speak? How many languages do you speak?
Russian. So my native is Russian. I speak German and English.
That's still amazing. I mean, I am still struggling with Russian and English.
I have some clients who speak 5-6 languages, and if you talk to such people, you think, okay, so am I really so stupid speaking only 3? And native languages, not foreign one.
It doesn't count, right? So we really could do this whole show in Russian, but we won't. We'll get one viewer.
Easy.
Очень easy. So it is really, really early in the morning for you. It's middle of the night, 3 in the morning, I think, right? So I really want to thank you for being here. That is dedication, and that you're such a professionalist and you're so amazing. For those of that don't know who you are, I want to kind of talk about your business and what you do. And we also, and let people know that we also tried to do a dating show. We talked with some production company. I don't know where it went, if it went anywhere, but one day maybe we will. So let's tell people kind of where you operate from, who your clients are, and are they kind of worldwide, Russian, Ukrainian, German?
Thank you for opportunity to tell about business, and I think it will be interesting show, and probably I will tell information what will be interesting for all other viewers, spectaculars. So my clients are mostly from Germany because my German is much better than my English still, and I was part of very big German production about dating and matchmaking in Germany. So for many years in Germany, I'm kind of star. What we do now, so lockdown and COVID pushed us in this way. We organize a lot of different online events because people want to talk to other people, and not only the situation where it's going about matchmaking. As example, I organize something like round table, men and women come together, and it is not about, oh, my name is Ksenia, I am so and so years old, or I have children. It's about knowing each other better. So it means women ask question to men ask question to women, and it's communication not like me as a person, but we communicate as genders. And it's really works because in this situation, people feel not so stressed as private dates, as Skype, something like this. People are relaxed and they ask questions they never dare ask.
Right.
And yes, and we started with about, I don't know, 15, 20 people in one session, and now it's about 80
Wow.
usually. Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to balance. How do you juggle yourself, all of those people?
I always say if there are a lot of people, only one can be ringmaster.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I miss having events, in-person events. I really, really miss it. But I do remember being so exhausted at the end of the night because I think some of my biggest events, we had probably like 150 people, and there was another matchmaker there with me. But just walking around, talking to everybody, sometimes I would take their hand, drag them across the room, introduce them to someone, because I feel like people, even as adults, are still like children, right? I remember seeing men just huddled in the corner, just standing in a group, just talking to each other because they're comfortable talking to each other. And then the women are on the other side and nobody comes over. So I would have to literally walk over there and just grab them and say, here, come on, go talk to the woman. Do you see that often too, at least in person events, or do you have things for them to do the entire?
So I think if it's about real events online, it's other stuff. If it's about real events, my biggest was 120 people.
A
So
lot.
last before COVID. So what I do, I understand there are strangers. They don't know each other, have no idea how to start and what to talk about. So that's why I always start with some, not entertainment, but some competition or something. So they have to communicate in groups. And
Mm-hmm.
so my last big one, it was really big struggle what to do if I have so many people, how it's possible to organize their communication. So I divided them into groups. In every group were I don't remember, five men, five women, no, 10 men, 10 women, and they had to do something, paint something or prepare some
Oh,
really
that's fun.
something little. And then I moved men from group to group. So it means in the from beginning it was group work for everybody. And in the end of this competition round, I said, so for me, it doesn't matter what are you talking about. You can go outside and gossip about me. Important is that you have now something to talk about me,
Right.
or better organization. Doesn't matter. So it's important
Mutual
if you
connection.
that you talk.
Yeah. Right. So let me ask you the big question, which is what I always get asked. Do you think dating is different in different parts of the world? And most importantly, do you think dating is different than how it is in United States? Or is it hard to compare because you're pretty much in Europe?
No, there are definitely differences. And so that's why if I provide webinars, I have different webinars for men and for women to understand these national differences, mentality differences, to prepare them both to meet somewhere in the middle. German men are very scared, probably wrong word, but they are on distance because of this emancipation. So they would like to be men, but they are afraid because German women wouldn't accept it. So, for example, in Germany, to pay bill for woman can be disappointed. Woman can be offended. I'm a woman. I have my own money. Why are you paying for me? In Russia, it's the opposite. If man doesn't pay the bill, he is not a man. So something like I have to explain. Oh, wait, you have to explain to him its mentality. Or just wait. Americans are more often. So I have never had Americans any problems with Americans taking pictures or videos. They are also yeah, I can tell everything you want. With Germans, I always have to ask, do you agree? Is it okay for you from behind? Or something like you need a lot of time to win trust by Germans, especially by Germans. But if you got it, you got them completely.
Yeah. It's so interesting how each culture is different. And here in America, I have people that come to me of all cultures. So I'm always trying to change and explain things. And some people, like you said, get very offended and upset if you do certain things. Most Americans don't. I feel like they're a little bit more lenient and easygoing. But I can see how with the German culture, with the Russian culture, and like I always say, my grandma, who she always matched people because that's such a cultural thing for us, especially being a Jewish woman. But her advice was always so archaic and so old and so old fashioned. Like the thing she would say was like, if a man is not hairy, he's not a man. It's like, what? Where you come up with this, right? He needs to be hair from here to here, everywhere, and I'm like, okay, just it's funny how we think, and in America nobody wants a hairy man. Every woman's like, I want hair on top but no hair below. Okay, well, I can't help with that, right? And so that's up to them. So I did have someone that was calling in, but he left. I think he had a question. So how does I love your videos, by the way. For those of you that don't follow Ksenia yet, go on her Instagram. And I love that you post videos, you give advice, but you also post videos of some of your women too, right? Tell me more about that, because I've never seen that before. And what is it? Because it's usually in German and I can't understand, but I'm assuming they're talking about who they are and themselves, right?
In my niche, trust is the word number one. And if men live not together, if they don't know you personally, so it's really difficult to prove that you are real and your women are real. So that's why the more videos, the more really show, and men watch, and okay, so there is something I can believe. If she has so many videos, yeah, I can believe this is a real business. And interesting thing, I have no problems with women. So I explain to them, you can be photo as profile between thousands of other profiles on the website. Nobody will find you because there will come new profiles and you will scroll down. But if you show you as a video, if you show you as a person, if you show your home, if you tell about yourself, it's different, because from just photo with letters, you become personality with your wishes and desires, and it really works. I have one of my, not last couples, but couple. So I organize interviews, and she came twice to the interview, and she told about your coffee shop in Kiev and how she works and how she sells coffee and how she organized. So it was really quite professional talk, because it's really interesting how to run coffee shop while COVID. And one of the guy contacted her just because he loved video. And he said from the photos, from the profile, he would never be interested to meet her. They dated each other for a year. And a couple of months ago, she got residence permit for Germany, and they got married. Just because of little video.
A video, yeah. It's so interesting. I always say that I really wish I didn't have to show photos, because I don't like photographs. I don't like pictures. I wish I could show a video, like a 30-second, 1-minute video, because that really shows more of who the person is. And these flat images, it does nothing. A lot of people don't photograph well. I have a lot of clients who just don't know how to smile, well, especially men. I take them on a photo shoot, and they're very awkward. They're very uncomfortable. They don't know how to smile. I have to kind of teach them how to relax, which is really hard to do. But recently, I started having my photographer just having them walk and just do videos of them walking. And then they're just walking, looking around, we're talking, we're chatting, and they're a little more at ease and they're being themselves. So I think that's great. I love looking at your Instagram. And I remember I had a client who was looking, I think I connected with you. I had a client who was looking for Ukrainian, Russian, Eastern European woman. And I gave him your Instagram. He goes, I want them all. He saw,
it's the other problem, because so you have to reduce choice, and maybe videos. Right. It's really thing to reduce a little bit, because I understand that men struggle going to to my website or the stimulus. They see thousands of women.
I
don't know. It's something like chocolate shop. I don't know what should I take. Tell me. I have clients who come to me, even I have photos on the website. They come to me, Ksenia, tell me, who should I take? Because I have no idea. They all are beautiful.
And they're all amazing. Yeah, beautiful women. So our caller is back. Let's add him. I think he has a question. Hello there.
Hello. Hi. How you doing, Miss Julie? How you doing, Miss Ksenia?
Hi. Welcome.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I got some questions that were submitted to me to ask you. Hold on, I'm gonna ask you these questions. They asked me to ask you, what is the best way to find a woman with traditional values? That's the first question.
Ooh, that's a good question. And where's this question coming from? What country is this from?
We're gonna say USA. We're gonna say the USA.
Okay, we're gonna say USA. Okay, all right. Thank you for the question. Do you want to take that?
I can start and you continue from your point of view. I think to find someone with values, you have to understand what are your own values, because these words, values, family values, they are so, we say in Russian, so washed that there is no meaning inside. You have to understand what are your values, what's family for you. Do you want to spend with your wife every Saturday, or do you want to spend all your time at home and your woman goes work just because you want to take care of children? So you don't have to speak about values. You have to imagine this picture first. Then you can plan your future life, just because you have some description and you had some picture and you had some film in your head. So my advice always to everybody who comes to me, don't try it. I am kind, I am responsible, because everybody says it. It doesn't mean
Right.
anything. I am kind because I take care of all street dogs. I am responsible because my friend can always rely on me. Describe it in things you do, instead of just calling any words. So it's first step, I think. And Yulia, do you understand? Do you understand? Do you agree with me? So
Yeah, no, I understand. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you have to understand, or you have to define what traditional values is to you, because what it is to you might be completely different to someone else. So, and then you go from there. So let's say your traditional values are, you want a woman who, or you want a partner who's going to stay home and cook and clean. Is that the type of traditional values you mean? And I don't know if that's what he means, but is that what we're talking about? Traditional values? Does this person want to?
No, just traditional. Oh, like I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me give you the rest. Let me give you like another part of the question. They were also asking me, like, They also want to ask, is it archaic, right? Is it archaic for a man to be the leader of a household, those type of values, like things like that?
Oh, of course it's okay. Relationships are all about compromise,
No,
right?
no, 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 it's no, not okay. Is it archaic? Say, is it archaic? Is it old fashioned? Thing? Yeah, is it archaic for the man to be the leader of the house? Is it archaic in its modern times? That's what they want
I
me to
see.
ask you.
It's not archaic. If that's what you want, that's what you want. I think it's about compromise. If both of you agree that the man will go and work and the woman will stay home, then that's what it is. I don't think it's archaic. I mean, it's old fashioned. It's maybe old world, and in a way traditional, but I don't think it's archaic if that's what you want and your partner agrees. Now, if you tell me that you meet someone and she says, no, I have a career, I'm not going to stay home and cook and clean, and then you say, okay, well, then we're done, then that's kind of archaic. So
I
I don't
have
know.
I have another example. Uh, uh, Women in the Ukraine, many women in Ukraine, or some women in Ukraine, are very beautiful, and some of them work as actresses or models, really very, very beautiful. And sometimes I get requests from men. He lives somewhere in the village, no people, and he's something kind of plumber, so really normal job. Oh, I would like to meet her. She lives in Kiev. She's a model.
It's in
She
the
visited
city. Yeah.
50 countries. All her pictures are somewhere in Dubai, so and very exclusive, and yachts, and good restaurants. And someone
Yeah.
from the village who visited only the next town next to him. Yeah, okay. So something like example. And I always try to explain. Look at her.
Right.
Even on the pictures, you can. Understand what kind of life
Life. Mhm.
she has, and what she's expecting. She doesn't want to go down and live in the village. And if you dream her being model and cooking for you at home in your village, it's just a dream. You can do it, but it will never happen.
It's not realistic, right? You have two different lives, completely different lives, right?
That's
So
why. Sorry, I finish. And that's why I said to find someone with values. You have to understand who are you and what kind of person will fit in your life.
right, exactly. And it should go both ways. I feel like a lot of times, at least in this country and in my business, women are always expected to kind of slide right into the men's life and just become a part of his life. The men are not quite expected to become, a part of her life. And, the woman is always asked to relocate, to move, to change the jobs, to stay at home. And I feel like it's just because the man has the money and the power, So that's archaic. To me, that's archaic. So let me bring up, we have someone that's been waiting to come on, my podcast host, Scott. And I think he might have a question. Let's see. Hi, you're on mute.
Hi there.
There you
Yes.
go.
Oh, I know. Hi, ladies. No,
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
We're good. We're good.
Good.
Did you have a comment?
I mean, I didn't have a specific question or anything, but I figured that you've
You
asked me
just
to
joined.
join in the past. Yeah.
So
So
the matchmaking show where we were gonna match you is next week.
oh, I'm a week early.
Right.
Well,
No,
I
but we
apologize.
love you here. Yeah. Say hello to Elisa, who I think you guys should talk.
Hello,
She-
Elisa, wherever you are. See how
but
eager I am? I'm a week early.
you're a week early. There you go. No, but hey, what do you say to that question of, is it archaic for a man to want to be the leader of the house, the head of the house? I mean, you're single and out there dating.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's archaic. It's one way to run a household, and
Right.
there are numbers of different ways to run a household. But to say, if the man's out there working and the woman stays home and raises the kids, and that's how they agree their relationship should be, there's nothing wrong or archaic about that. Like you said, Julia, it's all about compromise. It's a partnership, and whatever the two
Right.
people agree upon, nobody outside of the household has the right to judge that.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, whoops. I think I cut him off before he finished. We'll bring him back on, but hopefully that answers it. But I'm always fascinated by the way matchmaking works in Europe. Can you talk a little bit more about? I guess you're in London now, right? But you also operated in Ukraine and Russia, right? So can you talk a little bit about why you chose to go to London, or is it just that you have offices in different parts of Europe?
So I have my own office in St. Petersburg in Russia, where I was born, and I used to live in Germany for 12 years. So it was a choice to move to Germany just to give kids, my children, better opportunity, better chances to have normal life. And I'm in London now, even if I work mostly with German men, just because I met someone from London. So I'm something like typical example of women who move just
For a
because
man.
they met somebody.
Oh, but I'm so happy for you. And if that's what you wanted to do, then that's all that matters. I think what I'm talking about is this constant societal standards that a woman will move for a man. You're on the same network of matchmakers that I am on. And the first thing that they post is, looking for a woman for this client, for this man, must relocate at some point. I have never seen a picture of a woman and them saying the man must relocate. And it drives me crazy. So I'm glad you did it because you wanted to.
So first, we women are more flexible. We can adapt even in other countries. I have some women who moved, I don't know, who changed 3-4 countries and really lived for a long time in different countries and speak different languages. Just imagine some guy who really have to move from country to country. It's very difficult because men, they are something like rocks, piece of rock. It's difficult to push them, to move them. We women are like winds, we're just changing. But the other thing I always discuss with women, because as I said, it's really two mentalities come together, Western, Eastern. I always say, pay attention, what can you do better? Because as example, he works, she stays at home. But if it's the case, she can go for a walk and earn more, just because her skills and her ability is much bigger than his. So it's really wasting of her time and his time to leave her alone and send him to work. If her strength to earn money and be professional, maybe
Right.
it's better for him to stay at home and take care of children. So that's why I like Western European men, because they have not this attitude, I am a man, I have to be the strong. if you can do something better, do it, please. Important is that we as a family move forward.
Right. Oh, I agree. I agree. I think it's all about compromise. I mean, this is the 21st century.
Discussion. It's not discussion.
Talking about it. Right. Exactly. Right. So I think that's, let's see if Mr. Pelu wants to come back. Did you have another question?
Yeah, I got another question submitted to me. But the next question is, what is the best way for a widower, an old widower, or not even that old, just like the person I had in mind was in his 50s, like around 57. What's the best way for a widower to get back into the dating scene and relationship scene and matchmaking scene? A widower, especially if they're going through a lot of depression and things like that, or not depression, but they're like sad widowers. Like, what's the best way for them to get back into dating scene and maybe find a second chance at love? Thank you.
Oh, that's a great question. I love that. Well, I think every matchmaker is going to say hire a matchmaker. So that's a great way. But I think doing things, going to singles places, especially, I don't know where these people are, but in United States and Europe, it's with social media, with online events, meetup groups. I think there's so many places to meet people based on your hobbies, your interest. And I think just getting out there and going on, hiking groups and whatever your hobbies are, I think that's the best way. If you just look up singles groups, I think that's the best way to meet people. Getting out there in person. I'm so not into the virtual things, even though I know it's still COVID and we're still dealing with the shutdown a lot of places, and this pandemic is still not going away. But I'm really all about getting away from the computer, finding a group, and then going outside and going someplace. What is your advice?
I would recommend not necessarily start with single groups. So, as example, I told that I like all kind of conversation and not emphasize that it's about meeting somebody and it's not about finding the partner. So, as example, learn foreign languages. There are a lot of apps you can communicate with people, just helping them to learn your language. Start with just talking to people, because it doesn't matter, are you talking to your potential partner or are you talking to people? You have to start to conversate with people, ask questions, being asked, just talking to people. This virtual world, especially COVID, it's brought us to the situation we sit at home, have only our computers, and some people really forgot how to talk to each other. Just normal conversation.
Yes, right. Especially people that sit on their computer all day, and behind the computer, you can say whatever the crap you want to say without any kind of consequences.
And I have comment to Elisa. She wrote, I joined a gym, but we have to wear a mask, so it's hard to meet people. Yesterday, I read one research about how people impress if they wear a mask. And really interesting thing, we like men more wearing masks.
Wow.
Yes, it was. I will find. I read really yesterday evening. I read it somewhere. So we women are more impressed from men wearing masks, and if they take their masks away, so some of this, excitement goes away. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, so the men were saying they like themselves to wear a mask, or they like for the women to wear a mask?
So women like men. Women like men more wearing mask, because you can see eyes, and it's so I don't know, amazing to see his eyes, his soul, and then mask away and soul away. Everything is away.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so interesting. So let's see if Scott's still here. Let me see if he's got anything to say about that, because he's single. So where do you go to meet people? What do you have to say about that?
I mean, to be honest, at this point in my life, I don't really go to meet people. I mean, I go to to 12-step meetings, and I meet people there, and I hear stories of people who've got long-term sobriety who met their significant other or spouse in 12-step meetings. So,
Wow.
you know, that's a possibility. Yeah, I was at a meeting tonight, and the woman who shared, who gave her lead, who has 6 years of sobriety, she met her husband in Alcoholics Anonymous, and they just had a baby girl. You know,
But
so
isn't the whole point of when you go to those meetings, when you're going to these AA, NA meetings, that you're not supposed to be getting into a relationship and meeting people? Or is that for the first year or two or
yeah,
something?
that's for early on. They don't recommend,
Okay.
you know, if you're early in recovery, they don't recommend you going there and getting into a relationship, especially within the first year, because neither person has a strong foundation in recovery or sobriety. But you know, if you have a few years under your belt, and the other person does too, and they're each working their own individual program, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden they meet, and you know, they've got recovery in common, and they've changed their lives.
Right.
I've
But
heard.
people that are not in recovery, that's people that are just, want to get out there. So I think, but that's what I mean. And what Ksenia was saying, don't necessarily join groups, singles groups, meet people based on your interest and hobbies and just to get out. So, yeah. So I'm going to bring you back on if you can stay up, because I know it's after
Yeah,
10 o'clock your time. And then maybe we'll get Elisa to come up, and then you guys can chat. But I will I want to ask Ksenia a few more questions because before she falls asleep, because I feel so bad bringing you on crazy time. But yes, Elisa is asking if this is the person that yes, this is one of them. I was going to have a couple on the show for you, but this is one of them. So Elisa was dating someone who is pretty famous. They were engaged, and he is still doing drugs, he is in that entertainment world, and I'm not gonna name names unless she wants me to. And I've been trying to get her away from that guy. I'm saying, okay, well, Scott has gone through all of that. He's on the other side of it. And he's done the work to get past all of that. Then I had someone else for her in mind too. So sorry, Scott. I wanted her to choose, like the dating game, the love game, whatever those game shows. But so, what are your clients like? That was one of my other questions for you. Like, what would you say your men, women, are they pretty much well-to-do? They have a lot of money? Are they from all over the spectrum, from, blue-collar workers working with their hands to executives? And what type of clients come to you?
I have really very different clients. If you ask me the same question 5 years ago, I would say that my age, men age, so most men are in the age 35 and up. But now, really interesting thing, I have very successful men in the age 22, 23,
Wow.
25. So it's really in the age of my child, and I feel me like mother, something like, son, what are you doing here?
It's too young. Wow. Yeah,
Yes.
I have a 22-year-old, and
Yes.
way too young, right?
My eldest is 25, so if I have a client who is 22, 23, I all think, okay. And I start talking, and I really had to refuse some of these young boys. For me, they are young boys, just because I have not enough women for them. Because women, it's different. Because women, they first, because of this international matchmaking and my special niche, women try first to find somebody in their own country, because moving, immigration, integration, it's difficult stuff. Not all women are ready for it. So that's why women try first to find their own country, and only if they are 25 and older, they understand it's difficult to find just because of this very specific demographic situation in Russia and Ukraine. So that's why I had really couple of men this year. I had to say, oh, son, you're too young. Wait,
Yeah.
become older.
You become like a mother, and your motherly instincts kick in. Yeah, I feel the same way. I've done that too, and I just think it's so young to be getting so serious. I got married at 22, and I tell everybody, don't do that. That is way too young to. And then I had my first child at 23. I didn't even know who I was really until I was probably 40. I did it, and I was a mother, and I feel like women are better at that, and we have more of maternal instincts to become nurturers and taking care of people, but that's way too young, especially for men. I really think.
Don't forget that we were born in the other country and it's other mentality. I got my first child being 23 like you, and it was always, oh, you are 22 and not married? Is it not the time? And now I say to my children, don't rush.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life. Travel.
Right.
Don't go in this family. In the family, you have plenty time for it. It's different time, different situation,
Right.
different country.
It's a different life. I mean, it's totally different life. I mean, my parents have been married for 45, 46, 47 years. But my dad proposed to my mom after 7 days. And that was what they did back then. But also because my mom was visiting from Ukraine, she was visiting the Baltic states, she was in Latvia, and he knew he only had her there for a week, and then she would be gone and he might never see her again. So he went, bought a ring, or took his grandma's ring or something, and said, that's it. I know you're the woman. Let's do it. And she came home and said, I'm getting married. And it was like, what? But, people did it then. I don't think people should rush now to do that, but there's a whole group chat going on over there about
they don't need us. They don't need us.
They're doing fine. But let me tell people where they can find you, and I'll post it as well. What is your website? So do you take on American clients if they're looking for European partner?
Yeah. Yes, of course. I have clients everywhere in the world. I have women everywhere in the world, even in the States. Not many, but I have really clients around the world. And when we organize our online parties, really something like really heart touching. Where are you from? States? Where are you from? Canada? Where are you from? So it's really all world coming together in one moment, in an hour, and you can talk to people from different parts of the world. It's so amazing. So if you use online together with offline, it really helps for people to get this first impression and start communicating after it.
Yeah, that's great. So if people want to get in touch with you, where would they go? What's your website?
Just write in Google Ksenia Droben and you will find.
I was going to type it on here, but I'll put it in there. Is it KseniaDroben.com or no?
No, it's Droben-matchmaking.com.
Matchmaking.com. Oh, the dash, right? Droben dash.
Droben minus matchmaking.com.
Okay, let's see. Is this it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so this is your website. Awesome. So yeah, I always enjoy watching your videos, but I have to turn on like the subtitles for English or Russian because most of them are in German. But I can see the passion in you, what you're trying to say, and I'm sure you're going off about something crazy people did. So I love watching them, but I think also all of your events, I think, is fascinating. I tried to do one and I had like 10 people in there and it was just so crazy and chaotic. I never did virtual event again.
Oh, I love it. I love it because it's the same situation. If you know what to do, so you have to control the time, to give them the time to translate. And what I'm good at, fortunately or unfortunately, making these little jokes, something, oh, don't worry, we have time, something like this, and they start laughing.
Right. And it helps.
Yes, and it helps. It really helps because I think the problem of many matchmakers around the world, they take this too serious.
Yes.
And they try to push people being very serious. You can be serious, man. You can be very successful in your profession, but you still have to have fun and child inside and doing stupid things, because otherwise it's really boring. I always
Right.
say, if you especially to women, and so our countries, Soviet Union, it's being serious, and if you are 50 years old, you have to be serious. And I always say, so if you are too strong, too serious, and you're expecting him being too strong and too serious, it means two boring people come together and try to build very boring relationship. Stay child. Especially men, they're always children for all their life.
That's so true. That is so true. It's funny because a lot of times people say, I want the exact same type of person that I am. I want the same hobbies in my partner. I want the same interest. I want the same level of everything. I'm thinking, so you want to be with you. I mean, it's too much. It's too much of the same person. And it's the same thing with that, I think a lot of times people forget how to laugh, how to breathe, how to just enjoy themselves and not right away get to the interview process, right? It's like a lot of times they're on a date, but they're interviewing that person right away because they want to be able to eliminate them if they're wrong, right? And they're forgetting to just be there and enjoy the moment. That's why when I set people up on dates, I always say, enjoy it, try to be in the moment and enjoy yourself. Well, what about my list of questions? I had a guy that came with a notebook to the date, and he had, yes. And I remember thinking, you're crazy. You can't do this. And of course, she never wanted to see him again. But he said, Julia, this is very important to me. So listen, this is what I'm here for. I'm doing all of that work for you. I'm asking all those questions. And he was very upset with me. He was really, really upset that I said that. I remember before I got married, I was connected. This is such a funny story, stupid story, but my mom and my grandma both decided that I wasn't dating quality men, right? Which I wasn't. I was 21 years old. I just came back from Vegas, celebrating being able to drink, and so they put my pictures and created a profile for me at our local Jewish community center, which is such a Jewish thing to do, for a grandma and a mom. So this was before the internet. This was 1997. And I tell this story to everybody. There was a book of guys and a book of girls. And you go and you flip through the pages, and it looks just like our profiles that we put together now, just on paper, right? So there was a couple pictures on top, and then your name and your hobbies and your interests. They wrote up, just chush, like we say in Russian, right? Chush, just stupid stuff.
Rubbish.
Right, yes, just garbage. Like, she plays tennis every day. She's a dancer. I'm like, I was in ballet, back in Russia and Soviet Union when I was a kid, I don't play tennis every day. And so where was I going with this? I had a point. And it's so interesting because one of the guys that did call me, he saw my picture and he saw it, and it was total nightmare. But we get on the phone and he said, oh, hold on one second. Let me go get my notebook with all my questions. And I started laughing because I thought it was a joke, right? That would have been a funny, funny joke. And he goes, why are you laughing? I'm serious. Can you please hold on a second? I'm going to go get my notebook. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way. So when he got back to the phone, I said, I'm sorry, I really have to go. My work is calling or something. And I hung up on him. But I'm thinking, people are still doing this. It's not an interview, right? It's not a job interview.
Now it's okay to make notice, especially if you come to a big event and you have to remember all these faces, your little notes. But I had one time situation, so it was something like notebook, and he said, wait with my next question, because I have to write down. And and he was writing, reading at the same time. It was really nightmare for women, for me. Yeah, but it's what I mean. Some people, men and women, they take all this dating process or matchmaking process too serious. They always think, if I go to the date, it should be really 100% sure that I will stay with this guy, and they forget about this just fun to talk, fun to get new information, just to talk about yourself, being selfish and present yourself on the date. They forget about this little thing, just talking with people
and
and
ask questions and get to know each other. Right. I think in United States, unfortunately, too, is people lead with, they start the conversations with what they have, what they own, the cars they drive, their financial wealth, what they've accomplished in life, instead of who they are as a person, who they are as a human being. And I think that's a very American thing, is to present all of your wealth on a date first. You present all of the things that you own, and you pull up in a Porsche and this and that. And I always have to tell men too that women don't get turned on by that. We don't get turned on by your nice car, or how many cars you have, or how many homes you have. Sure, that's nice. We understand you're stable, financially stable, but it's always something I have to remind people.
But you all so this is always this difference. We women, so especially in this Soviet Union, in this Russian language, very often quality we expect from men, being successful. Nobody can explain what does it mean to be successful men, but they all write in profiles, I would like to meet successful men. But they always forget, and I always try to emphasize it in the webinars for women. So successful man, he is successful in his job, in his profession. It doesn't mean he's successful with women.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
He earns money. He's very sociable in his man world. But it doesn't mean that he comes home and ready to listen to your stories for hours about your girlfriend, about any problems. No, it will be alpha man living in his alpha world and having these man qualities. He's successful in his boys' world and not in women world. And if you want to have really close relationship, warm relationship, you have to look away from his money and look inside what is his character and values, like our question of the day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so true. And yeah, so I have I want to keep you on for another hour, but I realize the time and everything. Was there anything that you want to share with the people that are listening now, they'll be listening later, about just the thought process of dating or hiring a matchmaker, or how to come into these events with an open mind and what to look for, really? Because I feel like people are looking for the wrong things, or they think they know what they're looking for in a partner. But I always end up coming back and telling them, no. These are not the things you should be looking for in a partner. Size doesn't matter. Physical appearance doesn't matter. All of those things go. What is the advice that you give people, especially the men that are probably, German, Russian, that are very, I don't want to say stubborn, but stubborn.
I always try to save money of my clients. Of course, I work in this special niche, and there are some questions I say don't ask them, because it will take your time, and you will have no time to ask something important. In my world, so in my for my clients, it's a question: why would you like to meet Russian woman? Why would you like to meet German man? Because usually, if you think about what's inside of this question, there will be, just random answers, not interesting at all. They will tell, Russian women are beautiful, German men are responsible. That's all, so it's finished. Good country, and so beautiful women with family values. But I always give one advice. I noticed on one client, and I took his way to communicate for future, and I always tell about it doesn't matter if you communicate on Tinder or matchmaking or some meetup groups, doesn't matter. So it helps to imagine it's not meeting with girl or boy, it's not party, we're meeting something like school friends. So I don't have to be likable. I don't have to impress somebody, because I just go to the friends, to the meeting of my school friends, and I communicate with people like I have known them for years.
Right. Like
And
friends.
yes, and this mindset really helps, because, I don't have to be a strong man. I don't have to be a beautiful woman. I just go to the meeting with my school friend. We sit on the same desk for years, and we just talk about what's happening. It really helps. It's small advice, but it helps.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I think it's a great advice. And we had a question before you leave. Let me pull up the question. Before she leaves, can you guys discuss the pros and cons of hypergamy? I don't think I've ever heard of that. So here's the definition. Hypergamy, the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background. Okay. Or as they used to say, marrying up instead of marrying down. But that's a very interesting, I've never even heard of that. The pros and cons. I mean, I don't even think people should be looking at things like that, right? I don't think people should be looking at the other person and looking at their educational, sociological background, where they grew up. Who are they as a person? Now, does it really matter where they come from or the challenges they've had? So, what would you say?
You think like matchmaker, but there is other way. Men are more likely to take women from other background. So it's you can see stories. He's professor at the university, and she's a nurse or kindergarten nurse, or I don't know, hairdresser. For men, it doesn't matter. They don't have to prove something, because they are quite sure with themselves. For us women, man is, I don't think, maybe a little bit status. So I have high education. Why should I take plumber? I learned so hard. I worked so hard to get this education. So
You're saying that's how the men are, or the women?
Women try to date up.
Right. I agree. I have that all the time. I have women who say to me, I will not date a man without a college degree. He has to have a minimum of a master's or higher. I'm like, how many people do you know have a PhD? I mean, really, how many people are out there, and why? You already accomplished that for yourself. Great. Why do you need your partner to have accomplished that? If he's the right person in every other way, and you have great conversations with them, you have things in common, you can have intellectual conversations and be happy with who he is. Does it really matter where he went to school, or if he went to school, or what he's accomplished? And I mean, that's just, to me, that's just really so shallow,
No, it's not shallow. So there are a lot of theories that it's somehow compared to this cave times, cave people, and the being status and having layers in the relationship. But I think most of the time women need this marrying up, just to say to other girlfriends, look.
Look, I married a doctor.
I had a situation, very funny situation. She was hairdresser, very beautiful hairdresser, 42 years old, and we find for her really millionaire from Switzerland. And Switzerland, it's always something like symbol of rich people, if it's not true. Yes, wealthy people. And we find this guy, and they got married. Everything is fine. Her girlfriends ask her, where did you find him? Because we would like to have the same. Instead of saying go to Ksenia and our services for women are free, so we don't charge any money from women. And instead of saying go to Ksenia has such clients, she said, no, I met him in the underground. Underground in St. Petersburg, you know. And yes, why? And her girlfriends, she found us and came to us and told these stories. She said, but stop. You never use underground. You never use underground.
You mean like the subway, the metro?
Yes, subway. Yes, subway.
Oh my God. It's something about, there's a lot of times I've had the same thing where people met through me, but they're either too embarrassed to tell people that. And especially when I ask for a review, Google reviews, Yelp, whatever, they refuse to do it, or they change their name because it's almost like they're embarrassed that they use the matchmaker because it's so traditional and so old world. I'm thinking, why would you be?
I read some. There is some research about why something like, because if you meet in real life, you have story. You can tell, I went up so with my rubbish, and so I met him, even I was not dressed up, and so it was a sudden situation to meet him. There is always story to tell to friends. But if you meet on the online platform on Matchmaker, there is no story because it was prepared, it was discussed, it was set up. It's something like boring, and people want to tell stories.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I think there's definitely something to that. And, I always take it very personal, and I'm always hurt because, we made this happen. And then just recently, about a year ago, I found out from another client that an old client got engaged and is getting married. And they didn't tell me. And it happens a lot. And I just couldn't understand it. I asked other matchmakers, and they said, yes, it's happened to us a lot too.
It's all the time. Sometimes you find their photos on social media. Sometimes their friends tell to us, or sometimes their friends come to us and tell, so we came to you just because my friend found her partner through you. Really? We didn't know, because she just deleted her profile and said, so delete my profile. That's all, without thank you or something like this. It's really, but it's life.
Right. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm very happy when people invite me to their wedding and I get to go and dance at their weddings, which I love that. So I never understand why people still see our profession so. I'll tell you why. People say, "Oh, you're a matchmaker, so you're a yenta," and I'm like, that's not the right word for it. Okay, so yes, it originated in Eastern Europe, Poland, Russia. In the Jewish villages when the Jewish people wanted, their single young person to marry, and they wanted them to marry another Jewish person. So yeah, they had this old woman who got in the middle, and it's not like that anymore. We're not old. We're not gossiping. We're not hiding things.
We are gossiping.
Okay, we're gossiping, but people don't look at it as an amazing opportunity for help, especially when, I help people with online dating a lot. I don't know if you do, but
I teach them, I coach them, but I'm not into it.
Yeah, I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing it. And the funny story is when I first started doing it and they came out on Bumble, there's an app on Bumble. I don't know. Do you guys have it in Europe too? Is Bumble out there too? It is, right? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. Last time, 2-3 years ago, I went to we went to Eastern Europe, where it's Russia to the Baltics and Hungary, and they don't have a lot of the same, like Uber and Lyft. They didn't have it. So it was very interesting. But my point is that I started helping someone, and it was on Bumble. I was logged into her account. It was a woman. And right around the time they just came up with the option to call someone directly from the app, which I didn't even know about it yet. Well, I left the app, but I was still logged in as her. And my phone starts ringing during dinner, and my kids, my husband, everybody's sitting here as years ago. And my phone was just, I don't know why it was so close by, but everybody could see Steve from Bumble is calling you. And I'm like, what? For a minute, it just didn't even click, because I'm not doing it for me, obviously. And so everybody just kind of turned around, looked at me like, why is Steve from Bumble calling you right now? I'm like, I don't know. What is this? And I'm like, oh, I stayed logged into my, so to me, that whole world is just crazy, but I do help people with it. So anyway, I do want to bring up Sequoia, who I don't know if you watch my other shows. I love Sequoia, but if you have to leave, just say bye. I'm going to bed. We will understand.
I enjoy this communication, especially I like it's the same like in my streams. I tell something and people just chat to each other.
Whatever. Yeah, I think using a matchmaker's chicken sophisticated. Thank you, Coach Erica Love. I always thought that too, but apparently it's taboo. So anyway, let me bring up Sequoia and say hi to her. She's amazing.
Hello, you two goddesses.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving the show today. I'm so glad you're interviewing. I'm not going to pronounce your name right. I'm so sorry. A matchmaker from the European area. I love that. Great.
Well, and I got so many crazy emails or messages on my Instagram after the first show we did with Sequoia, and she was talking about Dr. Ruth, and she happened to say that she was Russian. She's not, she's German. Oh boy. I was getting a lot of messages saying, how dare you? From Germany.
I'm such a troublemaker. It was all my fault.
I know. People are saying, she's ours. She's German. I'm sorry.
I thought I said Russian accent, so I apologize. I again apologize. This comes from a lover of Miss Beautiful Dr. Ruth. So
yes. So what do you think about all of this that we've been talking about, and hypergamy? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hypergamy.
I think that what the person who's making that comment, I think it's Erica. I think she's right. I think that it's been happening forever. Really, I think that there's a lot of social class structures that everybody's been trying since, the beginning of societies, and tribes have all been trying to make alliances to support your survival. And really, I think survival is where it all comes down to, right? And so if you're trying to marry up, you're trying to have an easier time with survival, and it's normal. I totally see it as normal.
Yeah. Oh, and again, like we said, it's about communication.
Yeah.
Right. So it's whatever you negotiate, so to speak, in your relationship, or whatever you want for your relationship.
Yeah.
I know I have had so many successful, amazing executive women who have amazing, crazy careers. They're making a lot of money. They have their own homes and wealth and everything. And they come to me and they say, I don't care if my husband, my partner, will stay home and raise the kids. I have an amazing career. I do not want to give it up, but I want a partner and I want to have kids. Yeah. And if he just wants to stay home and raise the kids, I'm fine with it. And what's wrong with that? Right?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I think that's wonderful. I think it's beautiful for people to, what Scott said was to be as partners. A partnership is really what I think it could all be in a perfect society. I think that we should throw away these ideas that women do the dishes and the men, do the lawn. I wasn't raised by parents like that. I actually had a dad who had me like building fences and laying hardwood floors and working on a car. But I also, was taught by my mom to be a homemaker and to sew by my I mean, like I was taught all sides of it. And I guess that
you had it both ways.
I had it both ways. And I think I'm a well-balanced human. I think everybody should be able to do that. Be able to sew, be able to change oil in a car or a tire. But I also agree that every relationship should be designed by the people involved, not the people on the sidelines.
Which is what you help people do, which I think is amazing because nobody really teaches you how to do that. Just like nobody teaches you how to properly date. I have had some clients who have asked some very strange questions on dates. And, I look at them going, why? Like why would you say something like that? It's like there's no common sense anymore, or maybe there's never been common sense, but you think about these things like who really teaches you about this, right? And what are the right questions to talk on a date, on the first date? I had to tell someone today, actually, I had a conversation before her date saying she's very passionate about she's very more traditional conservative, I guess, as we talked about before, and she wants to date a man who is more conservative and more traditional. I said, that's fine. But one of the first things she said to me is, if he's one of those crazy liberals who will wear a mask outside and everywhere, I don't want to date him. And I'm going to tell him right then and there. I said, just your attitude right there. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. If he says this, I'm going to do this. I said, I just don't know that we are a right fit if you don't change your attitude, and that was my question from Ksenia too. Do you take on everyone, or do you have to respect and like the person and understand them?
I have special attitude about my work because I've been in this profession for 23 years. I always say I designed my profession to have fun. So first of all, it should be my fun doing this. And if I see from first conversation this man or this woman is troublemaker already, why should I tolerate it? It's my fun and fun of my team. And if couple of days ago, it was request something like, so how do you work? I said, so we work like this, and we provide free services for women. And the question was, do you work illegal? So if she asked, I have bad experience, can you show me your documents? I registered in Germany, and German law is probably one of the strongest law in the world. Yes, I can show my documents, but the question not, I have bad experience, can you show me please your documents? I would send, no problem. But the question, do you work illegal?
Well, so it's the tone. It's the tone of voice. It's the way you say it. It's the delivery. It's how you're saying.
It's something like she suspects me, even I haven't done anything bad. I haven't started yet. Maybe I will. But not for now. And something like, and I don't have to explain that. I wrote to her, so we registered in Germany, so we are a legal company, but you will not have any experience with us because we will not take you. Thank you so much for your time. And
wow, just like that. Wow. Yeah. I have to learn from you because I end up creating a whole scenario of why I'm not taking them on as a client. And, the problem is in America, when you reject a potential client, I mean, first thing they do is tell the world because they can't just accept a no. So you will get a really bad, nasty Yelp review. There will be a really bad, nasty 1-star, 0-star Google review. I mean, it's going to be everywhere. And so you have to be careful because a lot of times, companies were sued because they wouldn't take them on based on certain things. So you can't mention certain things. So, during the whole election, I didn't want to work with certain people that felt a certain way because I couldn't relate to them and I couldn't understand. And I had to be very careful about saying that because, people can be out of control. And when they're not happy,
I would say, so it works because it's sometimes, so you're such great man, you're amazing man, but my database is not so big, and I don't know if I can help you. You will
Right.
pay money, but I will not provide you any matches. I am so sorry, I don't know. So you decide, and they will start thinking, okay, should I pay if she has no any matches for me? Just not sometimes I say, so we don't fit together because I don't see any, but sometimes, but I have no women for you, I'm so sorry.
It's all the way about how you say it. And that's another thing, like I remember my grandma used to always say, you can get a man to do anything if you just put on some lingerie and say it in a very nice, sexy way. He'll, unclog the toilet for you. He'll do whatever you ask. It's just the way you say it. But the funny thing about that is she wasn't like that. She would say it to everybody. This is how you do it. Don't do it this way. Do it in a, come give him a massage. Put on something sexy, But then she was very rough, Russian, Ukrainian, she survived the war, like you should have. It was crazy, but she didn't take her own advice, which I was always like, but you just yelled at girl. Okay.
I have a question about this. I get both sides of it, but I'm wondering if it would be easier and more authentic for a matchmaker to say, I don't think we're a good fit, but I can refer you to someone else. And then you don't have to make up any, you don't have to go through this rigmarole inside where you're trying to figure out how to let them off easy. And maybe it's probably the best thing for them to actually hear that they can't just have anything that they want just because they push their way into it. What do you think about that, Julia? I'm just saying, look, my practice is full and I don't have any space right now for you.
I love that. And in the beginning, I was doing that and I was getting a lot of really bad press. The Yelp page it was just, she rejected me because she said I wasn't a right fit for her. Was she matching me with her? I want her to another way. Like they would take it in the wrong way. I don't think people would understand, or they weren't intellectual enough to understand what I'm trying to say. So I became very strategic about how I would say things because it just became a nightmare. And then you try to get them to remove those reviews or on your social media or wherever. It was a nightmare, a lot of sleepless nights because, I work hard and, Ksenia in the same way. We work pretty much 7 days a week. And I pick up the phone when people call, and people don't realize just how exhausting this business can be. And we do put so much of ourselves into this.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's I turn people away all the time. And luckily I don't have the whole Yelp review thing, or at least I don't know that I do because I'm not paying attention to any of that because I don't have time, but I have to say that their reaction and their Yelp reviews is probably a sign that you actually really right to not work with them, because a lot of people who do that kind of thing are that you can't please them no matter how hard you work. And that's one of the reasons why I actually turn some people down, is if you come to me and I'm having to work really hard and you're not doing the work, but you're putting it all on me, like this is not my job. I can't pee for you. I can't do the relationship the way the communication and the sexuality, the way, it works for you. You have to figure that out. I'm here to guide you, but I can't do it for you. And a lot of people, I think, are used to putting it off on other people. And that's what I see in a lot of relationships that don't work also, is people who are always pointing the finger. It's her fault. It's his fault. And I think that is
never there.
Yeah. And it's a major red flag that person hasn't done their own personal growth work, I think.
Right. That's why, every year I post the same thing on my social media. Be nice to people that are trying to help you. Be nice, be kind to your matchmaker, be kind to the person that you're coming for help with, and that's, to me, the way they talk to me, the way they present themselves shows me everything about them. And I always tell people, they say, well, what should I do before a meeting, or how should I prepare, or what should I bring? I said, don't bring anything except for yourself, and the way you would bring yourself on a date. The way you would present yourself on a first date is how you should present it to me. Open my door, pull my chair out, pay for my drink, whatever it is. So, but yeah, I think your grandmother probably talked to her man based off of his personality type. You would think that, but no, my grandfather was the sweetest, gentle man I have ever known in my life. And he had a very calm personality. Now, this guy was a captain in the Russian Red Army. He fought in the war. He saw the worst of humankind, and she did too, on a different side as a civilian. But, he was shot on the last day of the war by a German officer who was hiding in somebody's house. My grandfather was walking, well, the story is he was walking somewhere. He got lost from his platoon or something, walked into somebody's house asking for water. And the guy was hiding there and shot him. And he was like a millimeter away from his heart. Spent a year in the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, in the hospital. I don't know why a year. And anyway, so he was the most gentle man. Yeah, you would think. I don't know. Some men respond very well to dominance. Others are more motivated by gentleness and submission. I don't know. Do you think that's really true? Because I don't know that I believe that. I have an interesting, okay, so there's an example of that. I was reading an article today about, we all know about American sports, football, and sports in general. And you see these coaches, especially of kids, going so hard on these boys, yelling and screaming and in their face and pushing them, which I never understood. And I remember with my youngest son, when the coach would do that to him, it would do the opposite. It wouldn't motivate him. He would be done. That's it. I'm never going back. I'm done. I hate him. He would cry, run off the field. My oldest, I remember yell, because I would go and yell at the coach if I ever saw him doing that to my kid, of course. My youngest kid came to me and said, don't ever talk to the coach. I love it when they do that, and it motivates me. And I love it when they're all in my face and yelling. And I remember thinking, what? How could anybody be motivated by that? But maybe there's some truth to that.
I think there's some truth to that. I absolutely think there's some truth to that. I mean, I'm a very alpha female. And you can't program that out of me at this point. I'm also 6 foot tall, so I'm a very dominant personality. And one of my partners loves being submissive to me. And I'm not saying BDSM and a dom sub situation. I don't really role play that much. But yeah, I mean, some men are looking for an alpha female, and some men don't want an alpha female. They want to be dominant. And I think there's a lot of people who got their hooks in on that. But I think that it could be, that they're really comfortable being with a woman who takes charge. Captain of the ship. Yeah.
I'm sure. So yeah. Thank you, Coach Erica Love, for those. That was really very eye-opening for sure. I'm sure there's all kinds of people out there. So, well, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you, Ksenia, for waking up in the middle of the night to join us, or staying up. I don't know which one you did. But come back again anytime. And we definitely need to collaborate. I have some clients who are very, very interested in meeting European people.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. I got up with pleasure.
So you went to bed and then you got up to join. Okay. Well, and I'm super happy for your relationship that for this new. How
Thank you.
new is this relationship?
It's 4 years. So we spent
Oh,
3 years.
okay.
We spent 3 years flying from Germany to UK, from UK to Germany. So it was very hard to make this decision because I have 2 school kids, and to bring them over from Germany to UK, school, language, and all this stuff. So I'm in the same situation like my women should explore in the future. So I know these problems of living in the other country and speaking not your native language. It's awful.
It's hard. It's hard, but you're amazing. I think your English is amazing. So as an adult, to learn other languages, foreign languages as an adult, it's really hard. I mean, I don't know how people do it. I mean, I was a teenager at 13. Even then it was hard, but I can't imagine as an adult. So you're doing amazing. And I have your website up. I'll put it also in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me, and
Thank
come
you.
back anytime.
Thank you. Bye.
Have some sleep.
Bye.
All right. And thank you.
So sweet. I loved hearing all about the matchmaking that is across the world. So that was a really sweet episode.
Just the nuances of, the things that she said that I wouldn't even think about, that relationships and everything. It's so different. So yeah, I have a few clients who are very, very interested in not only meeting someone out there, but moving out there. So we'll see, definitely try to collaborate with her. I love doing that. So, but yeah, thank you for your questions, and come back again anytime.
I will. I love the new background. I love the eyes. They're really popping. Your eyes and your hair. You are looking glamorous today, babe.
I'm really rocking that whole pinup look. Yeah, it's
love it. It's
trying new things. I do love my eyes, and my mom actually painted a peacock for me, because after the time you were in the podcast, we talked about peacocks and what it means. So because she loves painting, so I gave her a job. Like, you're gonna paint the most beautiful peacock. So I can't wait to see it. She wants to bring it to me tomorrow.
I love it.
I'm gonna put it behind
great. Well, congratulations on yet another good Q&A show. Good job.
I think so. I think I'm getting very good feedback. People are enjoying it. So, I'll keep doing as long as people enjoy it. And then next week we're gonna try to match some people over here.
That's great. Oh my God. We should all come to that.
I know he came in and then he left because I think it's like 11:30 his time. But yes, and then I have some other people who are like debating if they want to come on and do it online. I'm like, why not? Let's try it.
Something I love it. I love it. I will definitely do it.
Yes. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys for joining me, for listening and staying. I know we've gone for an hour and a half now. Thank you for all the great questions. And Coach Erica Love, make sure everybody go follow you. I don't know if you have your social media up here, your website, but I'll put it in the comments. Thank you, Sequoia and Ksenia, for joining me. Very, very interesting. And I love talking to you guys. And everyone have a great night, date safe, and ask the right questions, and have fun. Most importantly, have fun. So I don't know what's happening with my light here, but anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.